Hey everyone. Okay, I'm audible then. So, do we wait or can we start? Okay, awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity for me to speak with this esteemed panel. Pretty delighted to see the valuable insights they're going to bring in, especially on customer experience and its future. Let's do a round of introductions with their own introductions. Right? Let's start off with Vishal.
Sure. Hi everyone.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Vishal Agarwal. I'm the founder and CEO of Locobuzz. We are a unified CXM platform. Happy to be here and excited about how the world of technology is changing the world of CX. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey everyone, this is Maharajan here. I've been with Flipkart for the last 8+ years. Currently heading the analytics function for the CX org. I've spent some time in the supply chain side of e-commerce. That was in my primitive years. And prior to my stint with Flipkart, I've had experience across a wide variety of industries, including manufacturing, distribution, and operations consulting. So happy to be here and really look forward to a very engaging conversation. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Deepika Kaushal. I'm with Piramal Capital and Housing Finance. It's an upcoming NBFC doing retail lending. I manage customer experience analytics division here.
Hi everyone, Prashant Sharma this side. I had CX Risk and Payments at Gameskraft. This is a real money gaming company based out of Bangalore. Spent the last decade in gaming in India. Worked with companies like Dream11, Games 24/7. Prior to that, my initial experience was into telecom in India. Happy to be here and talking to you.
I think I just introduced myself a while ago. So I've been with e-commerce since almost a decade now, worked with various industries like food, retail, cross-border, and now into insurance. I think I'm just going in a sequence. So happy to hear and share my experience. Thank you.
Awesome. I think we have a very diverse panel ranging from gaming to e-commerce to BFSI. This is going to be an exciting session though. So allow me to start off with a quote from Steve Jobs which says, start with customer experience and move back towards technology. This statement, I think, encompasses the essence of technology and innovation being crucial enablers for achieving customer success or customer experience. We have all seen in the post-COVID era the customers moving to different digital channels and customer experience itself is very vast. It has different touch points where you across sales, customer onboarding, product walkthrough, or even after sales and support, which is customer service itself, which is a huge segment. Today we'll hear from our panelists on their experiences in leveraging technology and their expertise and frameworks to bring in customer experience and to tie it to their business objectives. I'll start with Maharaj. If you want to share your experience and how did you, or first of all, what is customer experience in e-commerce and how do you tie it up with your business objectives?
Okay, I think it's a very broad question. I don't think I have an answer for that yet. But I think what I can talk about is the kind of transformation I think that our CX org has undergone over the last couple of years. I think we've moved away from stating that customer experience is the accountability of the CX org to saying that customer experience is everyone's business, right? Because anytime we want to execute certain projects that will solve for the customer's problems, it was always a question of it's not a big enough problem for the rest of the org. Because that goes because of the fact that not every customer who has a problem reaches out to the call center, right? It's a very, very small percentage. So our universe was not big enough for the rest of the organization to take notice of. So then we thought about maybe repivoting the narrative to say that okay, if let's say X% of my customers reach out to the call center, we know they have problems, but what about the rest? Right, so you have, then the concept of silent sufferers comes in, right? So we don't know what is going on with the rest of the population that is transacting with us. So what we said is, okay, let's just redefine how experience is being measured. And instead of just measuring it for the call center transactions, let's measure it across the org, right? So that's when, we introduce something called as a perfect order experience. The gentleman in the morning from Myntra also touched upon that, right? And here the basic guiding principle is that, we make a promise to the customer, and are we keeping up with that promise or not? And this is something which we measure across the entire journey of the customer's life cycle, order life cycle, right? So you could have an imperfection at the point of the item getting delivered, or you can have an imperfection because of, let's say, the item getting cancelled, or there is another term called as RTO, it's called return to origin. Or you can have imperfections after the item is delivered because, something is defect, there's a defect in the product and you have to create a return. So there are various legs, and we defined a measurement system that captures the imperfection across the entire journey. Now, by doing this, what we were able to also understand is that there was a change in the narrative, right? Because traditionally in e-commerce, we've always been very hung up on ensuring that items get delivered without any SLA breaches, or we reduce returns, right? But then the analysis around this particular measurement system told us that it is neither breach nor returns, but the cancellations done by the platform, which is denting experience the most. Okay, so that is something that the rest of the org was not even aware of, and nobody had really paid much attention to it. And how did we arrive at this conclusion? Was we looked at what is the kind of impact that these imperfections will have on the future engagement of the customers. So we have certain measurements in place. We call them as repeat purchase behavior. And we started to measure whether the customers are actually coming back to the platform and repeating within the next 1 to 3 months. And that kind of a measurement system sort of gave us the view that friction happens across the journey, but different journey points have different levels of severity. And so that is something that is very new, very insightful that we came across with. And with that insight, we were able to rally the rest of the org to start taking perfect order experience as a critical program. Now, this is an initiative that sits at the CEO's desk, and it gets reviewed every week. So that is a level of, that is a kind of up-leveling that we did to sort of rally the rest of the organization to look at customer experience. I hope that offers some insights. I don't want to take much of the time because I have the other panelists also in place. But any further questions to it, happy to have a side chat once this is done.
Sure. I think that was a great, strategy to have different severity levels at different touch points. It becomes really important. Deepika, with the new age banking, I was reading a report which said by 2030, 50% of the population in India would be either Gen Zs or millennials. How do you think they're adopting, or how do you look at customer experience for new age banking, and how do you tie it to your business objectives?
So in our industry, see, we are an NBFC. We don't have a luxury of having a savings account and a credit card, and we are having those typical cross-sell opportunities to figure out maybe a customer who is heavy on credit card, he takes a lot of credit, why don't we sell a lending product? And typically a person who comes for a lending, I mean, not everybody is interested in picking up a loan every now and then. It's not like soap and shampoos that we are going to buy every month. So probably a person is going to buy a home loan or a business loan maybe once in their lifetime or at best twice. And the person is stuck with us for nearly 20 years. And obviously customer experience is very important for everyone who is having a touch point with our firm. Given you can't have a lot of expenditure on marketing all the time. You want some pull effect as well, that I have picked up a loan from XYZ firm, why don't you also go and get it? Especially it is very important for companies like ours who are not typical banks, because banking, you already have a lot of branches, you already have a lot of different products, you will try to retain the customers. But for us, it is very difficult for people who are there, they should be happy and sticking around with us. Coming on to the Gen Z thing which you're talking about, how the company is getting up to a new age customer. See, I think this is applicable to everybody. Everybody come have a website and an app because we want our customers to be, it's cost effective also, you get a lot of information, you don't have to physically have a lot of manpower at the call center. But the point which comes is how do you drive engagement? This is a major problem because it's not like an Instagram, I'm going and checking every now and then what is up. I probably go and check my EMI, I probably get my account statement, that's all. I mean, I don't need to log in each and every time. So how do I build engagement? How do I build interest? The only thing which I can do is, okay, don't come on a call center and probably go on an app for any of your problems, which an app can probably solve. Obviously, app can also not solve all the things. And for certain things, we're deliberately keeping it branch-led. For example, just like an insurance product, maybe I'm selling an insurance, and I'm taking an online request for cancellation. I wouldn't want to do that because it's deliberate thing which I'm trying to do that customer shouldn't go away. He should buy more from me or maybe sticking around. So I think this is what our firm is also planning to do the similar way. But again, how do we drive engagement on that app? How do we drive people on the website or build some engagements is a challenge, especially for a business like ours, because it's probably easy for Instagram or a Facebook to do that, very difficult for a Piramal Finance to do. Yeah.
I think it's very true that you said the customer gets stuck for 20 years, right? So it's not very often that they come and buy a product from Piramal or repeat customers, as in Flipkart, right? So Prashant, coming to you, right? We have heard from e-commerce, we have heard from banking. From gaming perspective, what is CX for you and how do you tie it to your business objectives?
So we are into online gaming, right? So basically all the popular games that we have all played offline, say Rummy, poker and all, we offer them online. So one of the biggest, I'll take back a little, this to a little history, 10 years back. So online gaming in India started in 2006 or 8, right? When we had the first online Rummy game. And initially the challenges were around even, people thinking ki, okay, is this for real, right? You play an offline game, but then online kaise hota hai? I mean, can you even play that? And is my money safe and all those stuff, right? So those are the initial challenges that the industry faced. Lot of challenges in terms of getting the, partners in and all. Fast forward now, if you see, I mean, online gaming is a sunrise sector in India and kind of booming as well. So I would like to share a story that we, from last year. So as a part of the leadership group, we kind of connected. And we were planning for our annual operating plans. What do we need to do? And obviously, all the charter will come out, we need to work on growth. Let's build in new features, new stuff and all. Our CEO said, okay, let's have a session, and he called it the tea tasting session. What does it mean? He said, ghar pe aap chai banate ho, so you go ahead and drink it, right, and taste how it is. So let's also taste our tea. What does that mean? We have our products, which our users use. Do we use our products so much, right? So let's taste our products. So all of us sat, and we went through all our apps, and found a lot of bugs, right? While we are saying, okay, great, our products are doing good, we are growing, but then there were, problems all around the customer journey, which even that leadership team sat and felt. And then we said, one focus is okay, we can keep saying that these are things that will go in your list, some will get prioritized, may not effectively, but then is this the right way to do? And then that day we deep dived more on it. And then we also discussed the Maslow's law, right? I mean, what are the basics what our customers want? Then we defined, okay, there are two things that we need to focus on. One is our core flows, core experience we call, core flows, which means a user which comes to my platform, comes to get entertained, and there are 3 or 4 core actions he needs to do. One is that he wants to add cash seamlessly because he needs to play games, because it's a real money gaming platform. Second, he needs to play you need to have a effortless experience playing, no glitches whatsoever. And third, when he wins, he should be able to withdraw his money seamlessly, right? So we defined these core flows, and then we also defined, okay, what are the pain points or what are things that we need to solve for? And second, we figured out the trust element. Okay, what leads to mistrust on the platform, right? We also went ahead and said, okay, in terms of marketing, right, it's very easy for firms to push the lever and say, ki, let me make it more alluring for people to click and, open my app. But then we said, okay, is it really helping the customer? And we took a very strong call to say that we will only say what really works for the customer, right? Of course, in the shorter run, it had its own impacts, not always aligned initially. But then there were some very fantastic things we saw. Very simple example I want to share is that, say from a landing page, right? If you make your offers or whatever you're selling very, very clear and transparent, it may lead to a drop in your first level of people who are clicking in, but then your conversions go up because people also understand what your offering is and then they trust your platform, right? So similarly, we did a lot of stuff around core flows experience, around ad cash withdrawals, and fast forward to now in 1 year, I think we have seen a faster growth than we could have done using other features. And this is a real life story, right? So what now, and this is now a core part of our, I would say, the way we work, right? It's a way of working for us. So core flows is what we define an experience from a gaming perspective.
That's really interesting, Prashant. So moving from a online gaming industry to new age insurance industry. So Reena, how do you help set up this CX strategy to, to even look at the different challenges that new age insurance brings in, and also the new age customers that would come along with that insurance?
So I think the fundamentals of consumer experience comes the moment we go digital is the same across irrespective of insurance industry, gaming, or let's say Flipkart or a Myntra. The expectation is that when they have a need to address, when there is a problem that they are stuck with, how easily we are unblocking it. And coming to insurance, I'm still a newbie here, understanding how it works as a consumer and also as an employee. But what I could understand from the insurance industry is, one is the trust factor. And the touch points are pretty much like how Deepika has said. Maybe in his whole journey, he might have called us once during the claims, or maybe to update his profile, or to change something. In that one experience is what we have the right opportunity to make sure he's there with us. He's experiencing everything that the company has to offer him, be it the best experience in his claims journey, be it the best experience in handling his entire recovery, or let's say meeting the garage, getting the policy scheduled with the doctor, etc., etc. So I think how Acko is doing differently is trying to segmentize these needs of each consumer who is coming, and also personalizing basis, is he a repeat customer coming in for because I don't think here we can solve everything within one touch. It definitely needs multiple touches, though like say we call it cashless, is what we are promoting, but not for every segment it works. So we are trying to identify a mix of both human and technology to ensure in the first shot we collect the right information and then give the best of the resolution. So moving the mindset of the people who are working today from a first time right response to first time resolution. So response today even the technology is doing. The moment you get a mail, you get a reverse response saying, okay, thanks for writing to us, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Are we able to get back within 24 hours is the first touch point. If we are going back within 24 hours, are we able to resolve for which he is coming? So the response mindset to a resolution mindset is what we are, trying to deliver here as an experience in Acko.
Very interesting response to resolution. So we've heard from the business perspective. Now, Vishal, you come from, you're a founder of Locobuzz, which is a platform which helps businesses achieve that response to resolution mindset. How do you help your clients achieve that in terms of customer experience? And also, how do you gauge ROI for customer experience? Or how do you help your customers gauge ROI?
Sure. So, as we were talking here, people talked about how customer service is not one team's function, right? It's a broader function. You need many facets within the organization involved very seamlessly to be able to offer an effective resolution. We heard Reena talk about going from responding to resolving. To achieve these things in a seamless manner, there are a couple of things which are imperative. A, you need to bring all stakeholders onto the same platform. What we have seen and what Locobuzz tries to solve in the first get-go is we see these functions are broken into various silos, right? The data resides in different systems, the CRMs don't talk to each other, all of that wonderful stuff. So how do you bring all the stakeholders on one platform, whether it is teams, whether it is functions within a team? Secondly, one thing which we also understand very well now is, especially somebody touched upon it on digital, what is the expectation on CX? I think one thing which social media has done is truly destroyed our patience. So, just like we seek instant gratification, we seek instant solution, right? And we just assume, thank God we are not in Delhi, we just assume that the brand knows who I am. Whether I'm talking to them on Twitter, whether I'm talking to them on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. My name is Vishal Agarwal. On Twitter, I'm called, Robo123, but brand should know that Robo123 is Vishal. So we want that Netflix experience, right? So how do you solve for that? Thirdly, what we have realized is the biggest mistake which brands do sometimes, and this hurts the brands when you put it out like this, is that people who are responsible for your reputation, for responding to your customer queries, are usually the most least paid people in your company and have the most adverse work environment. So they are constantly facing negative backlash, one phone call after the other, one email after the other, and usually we don't invest enough in technology. In the name of QC, we say, okay, we'll randomly review some transcripts or responses and all of that. We don't leverage technology to avoid that kind of a fiasco. I'm sure all of you remember McDonald's faces this, I think, every year, once or twice, where somebody says F you on Twitter, and then they say, hey, we are fired and we'll give you McBurgers free for 1 year. It's happened at least twice or thrice in the last 4-5 years. Consistency in messaging is extremely important while maintaining speed of messaging. So we sort of work with different custodians together and try to address this. We've been doing this for over 7 years, and our conversations, the quality, the expectation from different companies has evolved, and sometimes it's very refreshing to see. When we started, there was no customer experience officer. So social media was marketing team is doing, so digital agency will do something. So the guy or the gal who's putting the content on his social media will think of something and respond to the comment which comes. Or if the comment is too complicated, just delete it. So we have come a long way, and it's pretty exciting to see. So that's how sort of we enable it. How do you measure ROI? All these things, apart from helping you sort of improve your customer sentiment, you can easily create windows of cross-sell and upsell. Like in case of Jio, which is one of our customers, we have done a lot of interesting integrations with their CRMs to understand your past behavior on recharge, the recommended products, all of that, which shows up to the agent when they're responding to a ticket. So those things help you upsell, cross-sell in a big way. We had done, I remember, some very interesting stuff with Indian hotels. So our journey started with Indian hotels. It's always very sort of have this romantic notion with them. It's been 7-8 years they are customers still. What we did for them was analyze people talking about anniversary and that experience, and figuring those people out and using technology to identify can they afford those experiences in, say, Taj Maldives, and then curate a response and send them. So a lot of interesting things around upsell, cross-sell we have seen being achieved. Then another very small thing people, a lot of, we see in BFSI especially, a lot of people are upset about a certain behavior and they are complaining about something to the brand. Say it's happening on Facebook or Twitter. However, you don't exclude them from your Facebook custom audience or your email marketing at that time. Those kind of things can help you sort of, invest less on aggrieved customer trying to upsell them something while they're trying to solve a problem. And finally, technology helps you understand your customer better, segment your customer better. So your marketing strategy, your customer acquisition spends, they can be fine-tuned. Thank you.
That's really interesting, Vishal. I think ORM also plays an important role, online reputation management, because everybody right now is on social media trying to vent out on social media. While we heard customer experience and business objectives tied together, we also need to take care of data. We all know data is the new oil. And Reena, how do you leverage data to build personalized experiences for customers?
Today, from an insurance standpoint, when we are trying to build using a data, one is on the repeat users, as I said, as he rightly said, that you don't want to mess up with somebody who is repeatedly coming and complaining you or trying to, address a problem. So today, we use data at a very top funnel in personalizing what we want to communicate, at what time we want to communicate, not multiple people trying to come. Like I'll just give you a quick example, not from Acko, but from Swiggy, where we have a cancellation happening from a customer, and meanwhile we are trying to promote a restaurant. While cancellation happened because it's a wrong delivery, or she's been extremely waiting, or he's been extremely waiting for the food, and then meanwhile we are promoting, why don't you eat biryani? So it's a definitely a not right communication which went. And while we are also promoting something, we also want to be very choiceful, or very choosy on what information we want to provide to which segment of the customers, which is not very relevant. So when I said first we would want to understand, are we communicating to the right people, and then segmentize it into profiles. If there is in the past XYZ issues happened with this particular customer, we try and definitely avoid sending something which can, aggravate the situation, for sure on that. And third, when it comes to consumer experience, so today every independent department have a CX tag added to those departments to drive consumer experience. Product CX, restaurant CX, claims CX, everything thought backward. If a consumer reacts, how is it to be done? Because some businesses are mostly designed, only the interaction with consumer happens when there is something going wrong, right? So it is not that we can discuss a happy flow to design a CX. It is never a happy flow. Only if something goes wrong, how it can be handled at the best way possible handled. I think though we discussed in detail about bias, this data which tells us how much percentage of customers are unhappy gives us a biased decision to make a flow on possibly these many people with the same persona, same segmentation can go wrong if you enter into this search campaigns or enter into such calling or an SMS. So I think this is how the entire funneling of the data is done, and very choosy about who to send, when to send, what to send. Today, having WhatsApp, SMS so available, and we see a Bajaj Finance call coming at 9 o'clock as well. Maybe the cutoff is at 9. 8:59 is when the call comes. So it annoys so much. Nowadays, I answer and leave it for them to, because they can't disconnect the call. So it is very important when you're talking about experience, the touch point has to be relevant, and the data that is generating, if I have said I'm not happy, I don't want it. Maybe you don't want to call tomorrow. Call after 6 months. Maybe my need arises there. So I think these are the various use cases we added into relevance of the business, be it in food industry or even in the insurance to build the top funnel.
Very interesting, because customer segmentation and relevance really makes it more personalized. While it's important to use data, but it also is important to understand the challenges that come along with it. Deepika, what kind of challenges have you seen in leveraging customer data? Is data security a huge challenge? Does it hamper any of your strategies?
Okay. So I think we were having a chat offline also on this topic. Wherever, I mean, these days ChatGPT is a very hot topic. Everybody wants to have conversational AI. And we are also in the similar lines. We also wanted to explore and do something, pick any use case, because it's a new wave which we also want to ride. Once we started exploring, we are seeing that we are regulated by RBI, and we can't really use any of the services which doesn't have a server in India. So practically all these OpenAI, etc. are out. So while building any of our conversational AI or new models, we can't rely on any of these new gen GPT-4. We have to rely on maybe a lesser version of this, maybe GPT-2 or maybe a paid version of GPT-3. But yeah, this is definitely a roadblock. This is what we see. Also, because I'm from analytics team, we have all the free-flowing data. My team deals with all the PII data. And everybody in our firm typically comes to an analytics team for any data requirements, and you go to that team, they'll give you everything. And now compliance is into picture. You can't send PII data internally also, and you need to get an approval for any of the analytics or any of the assessment and size generation, which is to be done by outside analytics team. So it has to be it by branches, be by any corporate functions. It has to be regulated, and the compliance has to come into picture. So definitely people want to do a lot of things. We are also regulated, and obviously there are things which are cut off. There's another interesting thing which our company has started looking at customer experience very differently. So right now your center of your all engagement is your customer, because this is where you're reading a customer experience. The way we are looking at it is from a product perspective. So what's your customer experience index? They've created a customer experience index, a custom number, which will be a quantitative number which you can measure month on month, and it will be a composition of your straight through processing, your FCR, your number, your digital usage, etc. I mean, multiple bunch of these KPIs, and creating, and all of these product owners, the head of maybe home loans, head of personal loans, head of XYZ lending product, all of them are responsible for a CXI for their team, and not just a end team which is customer service team. So they are practically just the face of the firm, not really driving anything. So I'll give you an example. Maybe because our home loans are sold through DSA, through connectors, through our salesmen who are working in branches. While collecting the documents, I'll quickly tell you, okay, you just give me simply documents, and update all the details later. It's okay. I mean, our loan is getting processed because you want a quick turnaround time of 2 or 3 days. We will make it happen for you. But and once a loan is disbursed, we are seeing a lot of calls, or a lot of email updates are happening, a lot of phone updates are happening. Please update my address. And it's very, very annoying and strange as well, that why so many updates are happening. Why people are updating their phone numbers. And there was another angle to it. Are these people committing frauds? Because once you update your phone number, your email, your address, you are practically out of our reach. So how do we catch you? Because our business starts once we lend a product. I mean, it's not selling something and I'm out of the game. My game starts once I give money to somebody, because I have to return it. I have to get it back from you. So from a customer experience index perspective, I think that's a very different thing which I've seen our firm is implementing. Plus, understanding what our customers are like. So typically, from an Indian firm perspective, we have a very rudimentary way of segmenting our customers, like new to credit customers, or age 25 to 35, or maybe a salaried customer or a self-employed customer. This is a very different way of looking at it. And the way we wanted to look at it is credit behavior is an outcome. It is not an intrinsic, it's not an input, it's an output. How people behave, what is a characteristic of a person, which defines who I am, and how am I going to behave as an output. So customer personas, etc., could be created, again, obviously leveraging PII data, which has to be sensitized and connected with the right teams to generate the meaningful outputs.
Thank you so much, Deepika. Okay, I think we are asked to wrap up quickly. I have 2 more questions. This will be for Prashant. Prashant, while we looked at customer experience, data, how do you look at the future of customer experience? Do you see the likes of ChatGPTs or even the metaverse playing a huge role in elevating customer experience in the online gaming industry?
Yeah, so I think metaverse is something that the industry as a whole is evaluating. Personally, for me, I have not interacted much as such, but there have been some discussions around, in gaming what happens is, as I told earlier, right, the trust element is very important, and you have to also try and build some social connections. In offline gaming, it's very easy. You know, you'll have a little banter after the game, you'll talk something, but on online, it's very difficult. So the hope is that through metaverse, there will be experiences where you can probably get people to interact better in a different light, create more social engagements. So I think those are the ways in which we could be seeing the future. And I think the other piece is also deeper integrations of video, audio, live streamings, and all right. I mean, there are live streaming platforms right now where, if somebody is playing a Counter-Strike game, then people are watching. But then in general, for a lot of, say, online real money games, that is not too popular right now. But there's some areas where I think a lot of them will invest, including we will invest in the future. So I think these would be some of the future things that we would like to, venture into.
Awesome. So one last question to Vishal. Vishal, you've done a lot of implementations on platforms and you've helped customers realize the customer experience. But we have seen a few years ago it was automation, right, to bring in customer experience. Now we are looking at predictive automation or AI-based automation. How do you see that happen? And what would you suggest to your customers on embarking on AI-based automation?
Okay. So, we had a joke that when you are raising capital, you say it's AI. When you are hiring some engineer, you talk about machine learning. And when you get down to doing it, it is if else. But things have changed considerably over the last 3 months. There are many different aspects of AI. And what we are seeing now is this generative AI, right? ChatGPT being the first popular application of generative AI. I have seen demos. I mean, this last Sunday, we had this AI event for AWS where a lot of curated startups were there. I have seen demos of generative AI running on a simple MacBook without any internet. You can ask it anything, it will tell you. So the model sizes have reduced to few GBs. Okay. We at Locobuzz, it may sound brutal, we were able to reduce our content marketing team size by 90% without compromising on the content. I'm talking about things which we are doing and experiencing. We were able to onboard one of the largest super apps of the country onto a ChatGPT enabled Azure OpenAI system. And they have seen remarkable changes in efficiency to the extent the question the head of customer experience had for the head of ORM for that company was, "Ab tum kya karoge?" And it is, and I was talking to, I think, Biju or someone, and we were just talking about this. The impact is going to be very huge. I think we are in this stage where first time when you'll sit in a Tesla, Tesla says, "I can take you to the parking lot, but will you let go of the steering wheel?" The car is more than capable of taking you wherever you need to go. The blockage is here. I really think that certain applications like customer service where you're mapping your knowledge base and responding to queries, the blockage exists within us, not with technology anymore. And I think already the leading implementers are talking about reducing cost to improve adoption. Nobody is right now questioning anything about generative AI in terms of its capability. All the conversations are around where is my data? Is my data being used to retrain GPT? Is my data going to be in public domain? Are your servers in India? All of that stuff. So I think we are already past that very rapidly. Brace yourself for a very interesting future in the next year or maybe less.
I'm sure we're all braced and we're all ready to jump onto the bandwagon. So Vishal, if you want to give one word as a takeaway from customer experience or technology-led customer experience, what would it be?
Empathy.
Empathy. Okay, interesting. Maharajan?
Simplification.
Simplification. Deepika?
I think again, simplification for me.
Prashant?
Be a user.
Important. Taste the tea. Right. Reena?
Make it look real.
Make it look real. Simplification, make it look real, be a user, and empathy. Really, thank you so much for speaking with us, and it was a great session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.